Good afternoon. My name is Maxine Aldrich White, and I am the Chief Judge for the 1st Judicial District, which includes all of the courts in Milwaukee County, 47 state trial courts and 19 municipal courts. And I am just overjoyed to welcome this delegation of state leaders here today for this wonderful, wonderful opportunity brought to us by 100% of the legislature, including 97 members of the Assembly and 32 members of the Senate, and in a moment, the 45th governor of the state of Wisconsin will bring the bacon home. The Honorable Scott Walker.
Well, thank you. It's actually good to be in your court. It's unusual for me to be the face this way because usually we come in for an investiture. So it's nice to be with you and Judge Donald and with this great array of lawmakers from throughout this area, from both the Assembly and the Senate, as well as a number of staff that were involved. And we really wanted to be here today. We wanted to do it quickly because the legislature acted on this quickly over the last few weeks. And so we appreciate the opportunity. I was telling both judges, I just came from La Crosse where we inducted in the 63rd class of Wisconsin State Patrol. So it was good to see a number of the sheriff's deputies here in the building and to thank them as well as all their law enforcement in the state. It's good to see Supervisor Johnson, my longtime friend here in county government, and be back in the old digs on a different floor. But great to be back here today and to see a number of you all joining us here, a number of friends. So thank you for joining us. I really want to not just talk about the legislation, but more importantly, talk about the process. That more than a year ago, county leaders here, the county executives from the county board, talked to us a little bit about saying, hey, we'd like to try a pilot. We'd like to do potentially one particular site. And we said, well, that's interesting, but there were some challenges if you do one site dealing with serious juvenile offenders and you don't account for the rest of the state. And so a hat tip to not only our Department of Corrections, John Litcher, the secretary there in particular, but also to Linda Seameyer and the Department of Health Services, and really kind of charge them over this past year to say, well, let's take this idea, but see if we could go broader than that. And we had a number of lawmakers who are here who'd been working on major portions of this. I know we took from Representative Goyke's legislation a number of the things he worked on. We took what others had said, and then we put this forward, obviously, at the beginning of the year. The legislature then took that a step further, worked with county leaders, because as most people here, particularly in this building, know that this is a unique process, unlike the adult population, where those who are minors that go through the criminal justice system, if they're serious offenders, the tradition in the state has been that for those, the court designated would go into the state system via the court or via the counties. That was historically, for some time, either one or two large-scale facilities. And the discussion had been looking around not only Missouri but elsewhere around the country to say, are there better ways of doing this? By dispersing the populations, not only in terms of just getting closer to where families and support networks were at, closer to the original spot that individual came from, but also is it a better process by which to manage having smaller populations where more work can be done, where things like trauma-informed care and dealing with toxic stress and other issues that are too frequently are part of the process of those individuals getting in the system in the first place could be more adequately dealt with as well. And so this was a process that kept getting built on. The Speaker in particular in the Assembly was very interested in saying, well, let's take it a step further with the counties. I want to thank him for bringing in all the lawmakers you see here today and a few others that weren't able to join us to say that, no, we're going to do this. Let's do this right. Let's not just keep doing this over and over again. And got to the point of something that is rarely seen on a major issue. Sometimes it's on a resolution, there'll be a unanimous vote, sometimes on issues that are very specific, but something this broad and this big. The idea of having every member of the state assembly and then every member of the state senate working together on this, It's one where we spent a lot of time on the phones and in a lot of your offices talking about this, and I'm really appreciative in the end that everybody came together and said we needed to get this done. I know throughout, not just this process, but long before, the court system, but particularly the chief judge here in Milwaukee County, has been a fierce advocate and has just been a straight shooter to say we need to do this better. And we're willing to be a partner in that. We want to work with the state and state leaders on that. So Judge White, really appreciate your leadership and others in the judiciary. And I want to thank a whole lot of other folks beyond just elected officials and staff, but others in the community, not only here in Milwaukee County, but the Counties Association, the Badger State Sheriff's Association, the Police Chief of Police Association, the Sheriffs and Deputy Sheriffs Association, all these different groups came together and said they want to play a role in this. It would have been real easy for some of them to say, oh, no, we've got a tiny little thing, we're objective, we're going to put up a barrier. Instead, they came to the table and said, we want to be a part of the process. So today, we wanted to sign it this week as quickly as we could, and not wait another week or two so we can get going forward on this for Wisconsin to take a giant step forward in terms of juvenile justice reform here in the state of Wisconsin. And again, I want to personally thank not only all of you joining, but particularly the lawmakers here who stepped up and really did amazing work in the Senate, the Assembly committees, throughout the larger bodies, and really appreciate the leadership here. So with that, you can talk. I've got it. My wife would say if your voice is getting, if you're running your voice out, it's probably time to end speaking. So with that, we're going to sign this into law.
You're going to tag us, right?
Oh, by the way, I went to Columbia, and a gentleman, oh my goodness, I was going to remember his name. He said, do you know Robin Senator? Senator?
Oh, the elevator.
Robin
Oh,
Voss?
yeah.
And I said, Speaker Voss, yes, I do know him. He said, he is a great guy. He has done a lot for, I work for him. Oh my goodness. He has done a lot for a lot of us. And I wrote down his name, and it's in my stuff.
You were like Columbia, as in like the country? Oh, no, no. Say, when were you in Columbia?
I just got back from this.
So Columbia.
Yes, Columbia Correctional.
I want to thank you all for being here. I was instructed that I have to open and close court. So I want to thank you all of you, for all of the hard work that you've done
I'm sorry.
on behalf of all of us. I was given instruction to close the court and open it.
Okay, what'd you say?
So then we can talk. And I want to thank Robert Slager for the very definite and specific instruction that you gave to Holly Zablewski and me. I want your boss to know that you're awesome. I want to thank the Milwaukee County Sheriff and all of the deputies, Captain Holton and his team. I want to thank all of my colleagues and all of the people who are here today from the press to tell a wonderful story, especially today, the day of new beginnings. And this is a new beginning. It started a long time ago, and a great journey for our state. And what a great day in Wisconsin. Thank you, Governor. Thank you, thank you.